Hey, welcome back. This is a new segment called what? New Tool Wednesday or New Tool Monday. I don't know when I'm going to post this yet, so it's a new tool segment. Anyway, so I've been wanting one of these for a while. I'm trying to build up the suspense, even though you've read the title of the video and you know what you're in for. I've been wanting one of these for a while. Plasma cutter, obviously, and it's a Vevor plasma cutter. So I know what you're saying, Vevor, cheap, Chinese, crap, whatever. I bought a few things from them. I bought some anvils, the Vevor anvil. I bought a drill bit drawer, the Vevor drill bit drawers. I bought a slider so that I can make my own surface grinder attachment. And I'm telling you, so far, everything I've gotten from them is pretty good, especially considering the price you pay for it. So this plasma cutter is was about $200. And I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about plasma cutters because I don't. So basically, we're just going to be learning this together. I've read a few things. Beside the plasma cutter, you have to have a pretty decent air compressor, which I do have. The air compressor hiding back in the corner, all dirty. There's just some things I've been wanting to cut out in a little easier fashion than cutting with an angle grinder and any other way I've got of cutting crap. So this hopefully will make it a little bit easier. So we're gonna put this thing together and see how well it works. From what I can tell, it's pretty nice. I mean, if this is something that I'm gonna end up using a lot and this thing just doesn't cut it, then maybe I'll pony up for a better one. But from what I can tell, this thing is gonna do exactly what I need it to do. So we're gonna do some wide angle stuff here and just get this thing unboxed so you can see what you're in for if you happen to decide to buy one of these. I don't know if I'm gonna post a link for this, but if I do, it'll be, down where it belongs. So packaging is good. Got a nice piece of, it's not styrofoam, it's that nice foam that doesn't all break apart. Got a big box of most likely all the parts. And then we've got the unit itself. A little plastic covering the top and the styrofoam on the bottom. Okay, so this comes, it's this 220 connector. I don't even know what this is called, but this is exactly what I have for my welder. It's gonna fit perfectly into that. And then here on the side, this is what you're looking at. And we've got the other side and the bottom. It's got all the crap on there. The back. So it's looking like we've got the gas, which is the air, I'm assuming, the on-off switch, fan, some sort of ground right here. Flip it over to the front, and I've got one control knob, which looks like it'll be simple. Pilot, which I have no idea what that is, but I'm sure I'll find out. I know I'm not supposed to read directions, but I'm going to do it anyway. Our ground, don't know what that is, and then this is for the wand, it looks like. So we'll put that off to the side. And we'll scoot over here to the box, open it up. Oh, there they are, directions. And some hose clamps. And from what I've read, people are having issues getting everything hooked up because all this stuff is metric, and apparently that's harder to get. Anyway, there's that. So here's an adapter to change from 220 to 110 or 120 and 240. I don't know what it is. I just call it 110 and 220. Some air hose. This looks like our ground. Our wand. And inside of here, open this guy up. We've also got some consumables. So from what I've read, you need to have an air dryer for, I mean, you don't have to have an air dryer, but apparently the air dryer coming off of your air compressor helps these tips last longer. So, and then also the tips apparently aren't super cheap. So yeah, and I got the, there's two models. One of these is where you have to touch onto the metal before it'll start, and the other is you don't have to touch the metal. This is the one where you don't have to touch the metal, because the one that you have to touch the metal, from what I understand, you have to make sure the metal's all clean and all that. This will just blast through pretty much anything that's on the metal. And then, so it's got these little clips that go on here, so you can actually, you know, put a straight edge or something and, you know, follow the straight edge and keep a consistent distance from the workpiece and all that. These, I have no idea. I'm assuming some sort of stand or something. I don't know. We have a little box over here with some Teflon tape. Isn't that considerate? Because I don't have 50,000 rolls of this already, but some people might not. And then we have our, I think this is the pressure gauge or the pressure regulator. Yeah, pressure regulator. And so this might be the thing that's causing the problems hooking it up. I'm not entirely sure. But I've got one. So if I can't get this to work, then I have one basically sitting over there that I can use. So yeah, so that's everything. Everything that comes in the box. And I'm going to get this all hooked up and then find a piece of steel, which I probably won't go with, you know, 1/2 inch. Apparently I do actually have some 1/2 inch, but it's one gigantic piece and I don't want to try to bust it out of the corner over there. So let me get this all together and we'll see what it does. Here's what we got so far. So the issue I was reading about with the all the fittings not fitting up to this and stuff, I don't know what people are talking about. I mean, my coupling fit right in, this fit right in, that fit right in. I'm not entirely sure. So this model didn't have the 2 holes right here, but in the instructions it shows that this is where this is mounted. So I just took 2 self-tapping screws. I took the top off to make sure I wasn't going to hit anything in the back, and I just screwed them in there. I made sure I didn't leave any materials inside, and this is on here. I took a small piece of tubing. I'm not quite sure why they send that big long piece. Maybe if you don't want to mount it here, I'm not sure. So anyway, this is all mounted up, and then those 2 weird wire pieces up here, apparently those are cable holders, so you can wrap your cable around it, I'm guessing. So on the front side, I haven't hooked anything up yet, but I did read the instructions. It essentially goes together just like a welder. Get that in there, snug it down. I put my little clamp piece on the front of here, or my little guide piece, I guess is what it's called. And then you pop this off over here, screw this on. I'm guessing, oh yeah, so this is a flare fitting on the end of here. So you just want to get it on there, make sure it's all centered, snug it down, and then you've got this piece. You can see the two little holes, and there's a little nubbin here at the top, so you're putting it in the correct way. Put that on there, screw it down, and then pilot. Not sure what that means. I'm guessing that's power something. Anyway, there's on here, there's, if I can get this to separate, there's 2 washers. So I'm going to put this on one washer. Come on. Put the other washer on the outside of that, and then snug this back down. And I'll just have this pointing up. So this thing's ready to go. So what I'm going to do while I have it here, we're going to take this outside to do some cutting, because apparently it throws sparks and all sorts of stuff. So I have this nice heavy duty extension cord. So we're just going to plug this in and kick the power on. And sounds like everything's working. Fan's coming on. You can hear the fan going back here. Doesn't sound like there's any issues with it. You have one dial, and this adjusts the amperage. So the thicker the steel, the higher amperage. I'm assuming. So there's some directions right here. Basically the only directions you need. 14 millimeter steel. You're gonna set your air at 65 psi, 10 to 12, 60 psi, 6 to 8, 50 psi, and I'm sure you just, there's no real definitive setting, so I'm guessing you just kind of have to adjust. So I'm figuring if 1/2 inch is the highest it'll cut, go all the way up. Maybe, you know, like 16 gauge, 18 gauge. I'm not sure why you need this to cut that, but you'd be low, or maybe 6 to 8 millimeter. So anyway, I think it's all just about finding the right mix of amperage and speed and air to cut the steel you're doing. There are, in the manual, there are some troubleshooting to show you what everything should look like if you're going the right speed and everything. So with that, let's just go cut some crap. So we'll head outside and start cutting. All right, I decided to just stay inside. I figure I've got high heat stuff going on all the time over here anyway. So got everything hooked up. Looks like it's working. Let me check my amperage. So I think the amperage needs to be, so we're 1/8 inch steel. So I've got my PSIs. I mean, I'm gonna have to put a different gauge on that because it doesn't show PSI, but it does show the bars, which I think it's bars, and about 4 bars. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I don't know a ton about that. It's about 60, so that's probably way too high. But like I said, we'll do the adjustments and get it figured out. So I'm gonna go half on this, and I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes. So I did a little, some pieces of my logo. So I'm gonna see if I can just cut those out. I guess for a first try, you know, might as well, right? So that is ugly, but it's working. Yeah, it's cutting through that, no problem. I think if I had 2 hands on this, it might be a little more steady. Ooh, that's ugly, but we're getting it. Oh, that sucks. Thing twisted a little bit. Okay, so I started moving a little faster, and it was easier to keep it straighter, and the kerf isn't quite as... Can't quite tell if that went all the way through though. And we're going to use the straight edge to pull these chunks. Let's see, and I don't know. Yeah, these things don't fit on here too well. I don't know if I have these on here right or what. But it's not clamped on there very well. Anyway, let's see how this goes. Come on. Yeah, you can tell when you start moving a little quick because it blows up. Let's pull. Pulling is a lot better. And yeah, there's a couple of parts where it hasn't gone all the way through. Anyway, there's the compressor kicking on. So I haven't done much with it, and it really hasn't taken that much pressure from my tank. But yeah, these things are all wobbly on here, and they don't want to stay on. I'm almost wondering if it's supposed to go this direction. I had it on there like this, but I'm wondering if it goes on like that. Yeah, it's still wobbly. Still crappy that way too. Oh well. All right, more cutting. All right, yeah, pulling is definitely the way to go. Okay, positioning makes a big difference too. All right, this is what I ended up with. You can see a lot of learning for a first attempt. I don't think it's that bad. There's a lot of slag, dross, whatever the crap it's called on the back. But I basically have a little logo made up. So let me go clean this up a little bit on the grinder, and I'll kind of show you what I was doing this for. Okay, here it is, the finished product. You know, like I was saying, it's going to take a little bit to figure this out, but I feel for my first try it was not too bad. It's a little rough, but I don't care. I don't care. It's just in my forge. It kind of gets the point across. So this is a test piece, and it's going to end up staying on here. But I've got other things that I want to use the plasma cutter for, and I think it's going to work perfect. So, you know, I'll play with it a little more. Hopefully, I'll get better at cutting. And I understand that, you know, it's Chinese made and it's cheap. And I support American made as much as I can, but sometimes I can't afford American made, and this makes it so I can get into this product for a fraction of the cost of what I would pay for an American made product, which probably all the components are made in China anyway. So anyway, I know that's a touchy subject for some people, and I apologize, but it's just kind of the way it is. And anyway, I'm sure you're going to be seeing this in future videos, some use here and there. So if you have any questions or comments, anything maybe I've figured out with this tool, go ahead and just leave them in the comments, and I'll get to them. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next video.